Because you're telling my story here. Anyways, we gotta stop for a second and go back to introduce ourselves because we're just all like sitting here and just like, okay. And we just jumped off on a fucking discussion. And
I am Shabazz Jenkins.
Oh, Jesus.
I'm Joseph Rogers.
I'm Andrew Frank.
Darren Chase.
I'm Jordan Hansen.
I'm Jack Dick. And thank you for coming to the podcast today. And one of the reasons why Joe and I started this whole thing was we like football. And so we wanted to watch the game at 10 o'clock, and we also like to do podcasts. And it's like, okay, if we just do it every Sunday, right before the football game, we could talk about football, we could talk about the local news, and we could talk about world news, and just but keep it condensed into that 30 minutes so that the football game starts. And we've been so good about that. And then obviously Randall's been more than half of the shows. I mean,
I've been like
since
95% of the shows.
Yeah. But we all had it together, man. It's been fun. And I would say more than 50% of the shows, wouldn't you say, have guests?
Yeah.
Joe's my score count. That's why I'm looking at him.
Well,
I see. This is what I do.
We just did 35, number 35. You know what I was thinking about doing for tonight's show was editing it up, using the multiple cameras, making it look nice, and then getting some friends together and having a screening of it, and then record us all laughing during it, and then throw that into the video.
The laugh track?
Yeah, laugh track. Create a live track.
The part I would laugh the hardest is when Brock Toronto went, "Is there any ladies in here tonight?" And there were 3. And he was like, "I see one."
So I got a question for the ladies in the audience. Or the one lady in the audience.
And the other 2 are like, what is that supposed to mean?
What the fuck?
I left when I was on my phone and I looked up and he didn't have his shirt on.
So, nuns are weird.
It was like, or he didn't have his pants on or something like that.
Dude, that shit was great.
All right, so what are you doing for comedy these days? Besides Bremerton.
I just went on a little run doing the Northwest Peaks show tomorrow, a little guest spot, but I've done Trenchers, I've done Everett, I'm going to next in line is Vegas, then the Pechanga Casino in California, I'm doing a weekend there, Comedy Store La Jolla, St. Louis. Got a little road gig going on this summer, so
Nice.
then Minnesota, a few gigs up there.
Minnesota.
Heck yeah.
Minnesota.
Get your Juicy Lucy.
Huh.
So get your Juicy Lucy.
Huh.
Do you have a list that, or like a place that I can look at it? Because I'm going to be on a road trip. I'm thinking.
Real quick. I feel like you thought when to get your Juicy Lucy, that was like some sexual innuendo type shit.
No, I was like,
It's a hamburger.
Yeah. I know there's references and stuff, but I always tell people to get men's room sausage here. It's not a sexual reference. It's a very delicious sausage, men's room sausage. It's not a joke. I tell people in Vegas, because I work for a place, I meet tourists, and I go, if they're from Seattle, I go to Seattle, get Uli's men's room sausage. And they think I'm joking, but it's delicious. Best sausage I have.
Yeah, I asked him when I got you your beer at the bar, I asked him, I was like, this guy just ate like men's room sausage. What would be good to follow that up with? And I'm like, oh, the summer ale.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. So.
Good sausage, man. Watch they have there.
What's good with follow up with men's room sausage? Colgate.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, no, it's been fun. It's been a cool little run.
Right on.
What about yourself, Andrew?
I'm going on a pretty long summer tour. So I go to Lake Bridge, Alberta, doing a club there.
Did you say Alberta?
Yeah, Alberta. Then I'm going to Fargo, North Dakota to do a club there. And then Springfield, Missouri. And then I'm doing the Edinburgh Fringe Festival this year, so it's in Scotland the whole month of August.
Wow.
Yeah, taking an hour over there. First time doing that.
Wow.
I've done some other fringe festivals in preparation for that. That's and then I get back at the beginning of October. I have some other things, other clubs that I'm doing. Yeah.
Yeah, so you almost got the whole rest of the year figured out. That's right.
Yeah. So after Edinburgh is the Vancouver Fringe Festival. That's 10 shows in September. Yeah. After that long tour, I'll probably take a little bit of a break. I'll probably gotta go make some money doing something. You know.
What would you say would be one of your most weirdest backstage experience with other comics waiting to fucking get on stage?
I don't know. I did. I performed multiple times for a nudist colony. So that like
that's a front end of the joke.
Yeah, so that was weird.
Oh,
It was great.
nice.
They were really good. Like, and they've come to a lot of shows outside of.
Did the
Dirk.
comedians get naked too? If they wanted to?
Yeah, none of us did. If I were to do it again, I probably would.
I know this
But
guy.
I've done it. I just thought that overall my philosophy is I don't change based on where I am or for who I'm performing for. So I thought it would be pandering.
How long have you been doing comedy?
About 12 years. Yeah.
12 years.
Were they
Myself.
nude when you?
6-7 years.
Were they nude when you
They were all
performed?
nude,
for-
yeah.
So it's kind of like the opposite of that whole like pretend
Yeah,
that oh shit.
So you're
Everybody's naked, so
you're doing your bit, but then in the back of your head, the voice no one hears. You're like, oh my god, his dick's right there. It's like, her tits are out.
Yeah, everybody's thinking about like, you stand up there and I want to fuck that one. Or they all just like fucking denying this and.
This is old people.
Yeah.
Young nudists.
No more clothes.
Yeah.
The grandkids are running out.
We're done with them.
Y'all guys that look like him. Just all dudes that look like you.
Oh, thanks, yeah. Wow, that's a weird
Look at
thing.
Bill Maher was there, bro.
Yeah, it's interesting how the culture thing. I've been to China and Vietnam the last few years, and your perspective changes on what is normal. So being like in a nudist colony, it's awkward for me to think of. But when, for example, when I was in Vietnam, with cars and motorcycles going so fucking fast across the street, and I was like, in a week or so, I was just like, just walking right through it, And they go right through you like fish.
I like how you just told like black girl hand and neck. Like when
Oh, it is, man. It's like, no, because that's what you do, like, because you dance into it. It really is. You like hold up your hand and they see you, and then you hold it up, and then they like acknowledge it, and you start going with it, and then they go behind you and in front of you. They're like, oh yeah, I know where you're at. I mean, these guys got like their wife on the front handlebars with their baby and their dog, and there's 2-3 children in the back with a tree.
It's like a fucking Mario Kart level, right?
Oh my
Like the
God.
bridges are all dragon themed and shit.
And so they're like,
People are honking just to let you know that
Oh,
they're
yeah,
there.
That's right.
Like, please don't hit me.
So yeah, I could totally understand how all of a sudden a nudist colony would be like, eh. That's the way it is.
In La Jolla, California, I went to the Black's Beach down there. It was a nude beach. I was 16. Dicks
Black's Beach?
everywhere. Yeah.
0 black people there, I bet.
There was one black person there. And
He was-
not only that, he was jerking off the couples that were laying there on the beach naked. And it was really weird because I felt like someone should have done something about it, but they were just like, "Man, that's just like it was like, oh, that's just Frank," It was weird. And then there was one couple that were pretty hot. Most of them were old people.
Did y'all like gather around this one hot couple?
No, they were just walking on
You
the
guys are
beach.
beautiful.
I was walking on the beach. I was playing frisbee. So it was cool.
All right, so we conquered world news. I don't think we should go into the Pakistani-Israeli conflict right now, but
I just kind of felt like this was just a shit show. Like,
yeah, of course, it's a
Tomorrow's
shit show. Thanks for pointing that out.
your diagram, then.
Well, if there's nothing else to talk about, or if you want to talk about,
I want to talk about what the theory is on how they left the moon.
Ha!
That's what I want to know.
left
mean-
what?
Left
Oh,
alone.
Anybody seen the video of them leaving the moon?
No.
Yes, there's a video. It's on
There's
YouTube.
got to be another word than leaving.
What are you talking
No,
about?
the video
Moon
of
landing.
the moon lab. There's a video on YouTube of you type in Apollo leaving the moon, and it's supposedly official footage of them leaving the moon.
Is this a new thing?
No.
No,
I'm not aware of this.
I'm surprised you weren't aware of it because I'm
Yeah,
not.
no,
I'm not
like,
aware.
what are you talking about? It's
Most conspiracy
I know
shit.
all
I'm not
about
aware
the
of it. You're
moon
all aware
landing,
about it.
I'm no place the authority on the topic. I'm just someone that's put a lot of time into all this shit, and there is a lot of shadows you grasp at answers you think would be real. You go, oh, well, yeah. But like the whole NASA, there's a lot of. It seems weird, but they're leaving the moon video.
Was it like the fucking shuttle, like?
Okay,
Leaving it
Apollo.
Well, you know what they landed it in. You know how the moon landed it.
Yeah.
Dude, that thing looks like stable and like
No.
it looks
Apollo
like pretty
Creed
tinfoil
Death.
and that is what they left in. So they
That's
left.
a lot better
With
than
the
that.
rocket
That's what I'm saying, like freaking, like it's editing of like
No,
just going lifting off and
Jesus
like
Christ.
some
You'll
I
see.
think that's it.
You'll see.
I think that's the movie.
I don't know. It came up first.
It came up first, so now we're watching.
Apollo Creed Death. I must
Do it,
break
George.
you.
Yeah,
I
this
must
shit-
break you.
this hurt my feelings when I first saw it, honestly.
Oh, for sure. That broke my heart too.
If he dies, he dies.
Dude, there's some brutal.
Come on, this is the
chaos
best
in there.
line. If he dies, he dies.
The part that hurt me the worst was whenever the fucking trainer, the old black dude, was like, "Throw in a goddamn towel." That shit broke my heart.
Here it is. If he dies, he dies.
What's starting out as a joke?
Damn, I love that line.
This is pretty fucking savage.
This movie does not age well, I don't think.
Doesn't he have a robot?
Throw in the towel.
I think Rocky has a robot at his house. In this
Throw
film.
the towel.
So that's
Throw the
that's
towel.
That's right. Doesn't he?
You killed him, Rocky.
Throw in the goddamn towel. He was so passionate.
Yeah.
Oh, snap. No.
I am a real American.
Is it because he's on steroids? Is that why?
One last.
One last little weekend at Bernie's.
Oh, goodness gracious. All right.
That's good.
Back to the story.
I like it. What were we talking about before? Conspiracy?
NASA.
I guess it was just.
The moon leaving? How did that? Oh,
Oh, yeah, Apollo.
Yeah, yeah,
Did you
right.
type in Apollo Creed Death out? Is that what? That's literally what's in the search
You
bar.
you weren't even trying for the
put it on
moon
No,
leaving.
I typed in Apollo and it came out green. I was like, yeah, that's a lot better than the
There was
fucking
like a
moon landing or leaving or whatever the fuck we're
there
calling
was a
it.
secret agenda here.
No, it was the first thing that popped up, man.
We're looking for the video of them launching
Not
off
Creed.
the moon. Because they probably
Apollo.
just need little mini boosters to
What'd you
launch.
say, leaving?
Moon leaving. Yeah, we'll see if.
Leaving moon.
Can't see without losing.
Have you guys been watching what they've been doing? Launching rockets, SpaceX, and that other one that's launching rockets for like commercial shit.
Is that
Or
it?
they're gonna start launching people into space. No.
I think Richard Branson was going to also do space tourism.
What? That looks legit.
Who's filming it?
And they just left some dude up there.
It pans up perfectly with it.
Oh, that's funny.
That shit reminded me of fucking the Simpsons when Coachy fucking got killed.
Yeah.
Wait, do it again.
Dude, who added the sparkles?
Oh
No,
my
that's
Who
that's
is
all
like-
part of it. There's videos breaking down why.
No
it looks
fucking
like
way.
this.
Alright.
No,
no fucking way.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
My favorite part is how you were like, I'm not nearly the expert, but among the conspiracy community, you look like an expert. You're like, dude, that guy has a shirt. Rally behind him.
Yeah, no, that's
really
how
That's too funny.
they claim that they then went around the moon 3 times before they lined up with the orbiter,
With the
that Michael
shuttle.
Collins, the orbiter thing, and then that propelled itself back to Earth.
So just redock to the Megazord, and then
Yeah, and then by the last time,
Excuse
it
me.
only took them 1 rotation around the moon before they were able to dock with it. That was actually in a book I read at the San Diego Air and Space Museum thing. And I've gone to the observatories, all the places where the official information would be, and it just all seems like cartoon bullshit. I was looking at the Griffith Observatory in L.A. at their planetary models,
Yeah.
and it tells you what the core is made out of all these planets, and I was like, well, how could we possibly know that? They've never landed on that.
Yeah.
It's just radio waves and numbers and shit?
Yeah.
Like, really? And then I started thinking about our own planet, and that's why I put in my act, like, we've been
It's
8
just
miles.
It's just chemistry. It's like
Right.
Again, now,
you don't have to
this-
dig
this-
into the middle of a thing to know
Well,
what's in the middle of it.
But you still don't know then. You were only guessing. It's
I
still
beg to differ.
only- even though it's educated guessing,
no
it's
one
still
knew what
guessing.
the center of Tootsie Pop was until they out-ate that shit. Okay.
But like,
My point is,
how many
my-
licks? How many licks?
if you ask Alexa, they said 258. Alexa says 258. But yeah.
Does it really?
Yeah,
258?
you gotta ask her twice if she gives you the answer.
Whose fucking tongue is that based on?
But my quote I've come up with in its explanation without evidence is a religion, and most things are explanation based, but you have no actual evidence, like the center of the earth. We only have them explaining to us what it must be based off deductive reasoning and yada yada yada. But we have no actual evidence. You can't drive to like a field and go, oh, those little rocks are what we're based off of. They got an axis and a magnetic north, and they spin, and we cut them open. It's a core. Yeah, we're that, but just pick. There's no proof other than just
What
numbers.
about volcanoes?
I think it's only 8 miles deep. I'm not a scientist explaining what it is, but I'm saying that we've only been 8 miles, and volcanoes could be within that 8 miles.
Like the Eminem of fucking.
You know what I mean? Like we've only been that deep, so we don't know. You don't know that's coming from 3,000 miles away. If you've only been 8 miles away, you can't tell me what's 20 miles away.
Well,
let alone 200 miles
I
away, let
can,
alone
because I have
1,000 miles
Google Earth.
away.
It is. It's weird though how like conspiracy theories have evolved, right? Like a conspiracy theory used to be just like, all right, this guy definitely shot JFK, right? Like there was a shooting of JFK, but we don't know the motive, right? And now conspiracy theories are just like, hey, all this evidence that we've been presented, nah, fuck that shit. It's flat.
The problem,
We don't trust like.
The problem is though, is we have access to information, and now people can backpedal and start watching old NASA videos, and they're going, wait, did a dude's head just pop up in the back of that thing and then duck back down? Wait, did the dude just literally dissolve as he was walking around a corner? Like, these are all videos. If you spend as many hours, there are so many videos that are official sources that are clearly fakes and don't hold up. So it's easy to make fun of it, but again, I'm saying this as somebody that spent hours, and my original step was going, that's easily disprovable, and I'm literally grasping at shadows. Why is there not a video of someone doing a 360 in space? Why when they land on the moon, did they not film all the way around them instead of just planting a camera and jumping in front of it going, hey, look at us here? You know, it's like, it seems so, when you think back of it, we were so naive back then, and then some things just don't add up. So that's where the conspiracy theorists come in, and they go, hey man, we're asking questions, and then people want to make fun of them and go, do we know this? We were taught this when we were
I
kids.
feel like freaking America was like the first like Instagram flexers by doing the moon landing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
fuck yeah,
and then we can never do it
Russia, look
again.
what the fuck we did, you know?
Now
We
they
did
say
it
we're going
before
back by
you.
2024. There's a video on YouTube that says we're going back for good. And they talk about we're going to put a moon, basically build a man-made moon that's going to orbit around the moon that we can then use to launch off into
Double
deep space.
moon.
Yeah, this is all like real NASA shit. But that's why it's hilarious that we live in like a comic book with all this stuff. When you actually look at
That would mess things up so much if we added a moon.
It's like a little
It would
like,
ruin everything.
It's like a
Triple
satellite.
tidal waves and shit.
That's what they want to do. But yeah, it's interesting. I
Maybe
think
that
it's a simulation. Like honestly, fucking, you know.
Well, with the water levels rising, maybe it would lower it. However, I would like beachfront property right here. In about 20 years, that would be so nice, man.
Now you're
Take a
home
boat out of here.
Those guys stopped smoking weed down there and fucking playing terrible music.
I think one of the challenges with conspiracy theories in general is that it's become a conversation piece that is misunderstood. For example, if you think that there's a conspiracy, they automatically might think tin hats and
Alien.
alien.
Yeah.
Well, not even
Not necessarily.
yeah, but I mean, more like the weird stuff like Loch Ness Monster and
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot and
But there's people out here that believe in Bigfoot. You
But
go
then-
in this area, there's
Conspiracies were just invented
Yeah.
by the tinfoil companies.
right, exactly.
To sell.
Bob
Yeah.
Reynolds.
And flat, yeah, and
It's
flat
all-
Earth
it's
is just
all
how we
big-
market to kids. It's
But-
like cigarette ads, like below the counter.
But the
line.
fact that that's a joke is been part of the propaganda machine. That, oh, you must wear a tin hat because blah blah blah, and it's been part of the conspiracy of its conspiracy to make people think that if you think alternatively, then you are one of those weirdos. And when you come to find out that yeah, they are looking through that shit. When I tell a joke about breaking my shoulder using rollerblades all the time, and I get rollerblade feeds on my fucking phone, something's going on. You know what the fuck?
I feel like
fell
we're
into
getting
a
like
dumpster.
very 90s, like cable access channel-ish.
What's interesting to me
So-
though is like
Hold on, let me finish this for a second because we're going downtown tomorrow for the military thing, and the Turner Joy started the Vietnam War in the event of Tonkin.
Gulf of Tonkin incident?
Tonkin or Tonkin?
Where they fired at us. Yeah.
Oh, that
Well,
was part of it?
supposedly fired at
Yeah,
us,
yeah.
but then it was just released in 1994
It was a false flag attack.
that it was a false flag mission to get us involved in the war. So when people like myself might ask, how did Building 7 fall? And everybody says, oh, you're one of those conspiracy guys. You must believe in Bigfoot. That's all a propaganda thing to get us to believe in a certain way of thinking so that it's dismissive. Just like the Russians did in the Facebook. So that people would be divisive instead of logical. And they would be more emotional instead of reasonable.
I do like the idea of like being like they're watching us and they're recording us while we're doing a podcast.
Right.
You know, it's like,
Hey, I'm
I
giving
s-
it to him.
I
I'll
see.
tell him. Bring it on, motherfuckers. You know.
little side
Shit.
thing. What do you know about Building 6?
I don't actually
Yeah.
know much about it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Another couple
What's
buildings
that
fell.
story?
It's another building that fell that day,
Mhm.
and there's a
Oh,
lot
I
of
was-
important shit in that building.
Really?
Yeah. And
Did you know that the
we
two
left
the
out
two
of stuff.
towers were building 9 and building 11?
Oh my god.
Weird. It's weird like that.
No, thank you. Appreciate it though.
But yeah, there's another building that fell that day and all that good shit. But
Around.
I love all that stuff, and I love it like a TV show. I love it like it energizes me to the fact. But there's actually people like I first started listening to Flat Earth, and I was like laughing at it. I was like, it's some stupid shit. And then there's a dude. So I listened to it through this podcast called Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. This dude, David Weiss, Mike Cannon, and this other dude. His last name's Rothschild, which I don't. He says he's not really Rothschild, but who knows? But I listened to his progression and how he opened up into it. I've since met him, and I was like, dude, so you believe in it? What changed in your life? Because that's the number one question people always go, oh, even if it was, what's that matter? And he went, well, I believe that this is a simulation that I'm in control of, and I want to be the CFO of my own company with total control of time and money. Here I am in Pasadena. He points to his shirt, and he's like, and I am that. Like, he created his own world. He's like, money's fine for me right now. I have all the time I want. He goes, and this all happened because I accepted that I was, whatever. Also, if it was a movie, all the parts would have to be in place, are in place for it to be a flat or a dome or some kind, being like the UN logo, being the map, and then Antarctica being so protected.
Yeah.
That's the big one, Antarctica. Like people, like, they always go, "Oh, dude, just go to space and choose the curve, whatever." I say, just fucking have 4 people meet in Antarctica at the South Pole that all left from different parts of the Southern Hemisphere. Track it, have it live feed. This guy left from Australia. This guy left from South America. This guy left from somewhere over in fucking Asia, whatever. They
Yeah.
all meet there at the South Pole. Hey, what's up? We're here. But what if that's not an option? What if Antarctica is just multiple islands out in the ocean that they're hiding from us that we can't go to? We don't know. There's so much wonder, but the fact that Nazis were the ones that created NASA, and that Disney was telling us what space was before NASA was even a thing, and that all that CIA and Hollywood shit works together, it's like, that's in a movie. That would be how they would control everybody.
Well, one of
would
the
be
interesting, one of
And
the
that's how they
interesting
get us
things
in
to
movies.
me, if they were to land on the moon, okay, let's say I was going from here to Tacoma,
Okay.
and I had a special device to get me there, right? And then I land there, and then that special device is the only thing that's going to be able to get me back, right? Just to Tacoma.
Okay.
And so once I get to Tacoma, I pull out a car and start driving around. It's like, dude, where are you going away from that fucking special device that's gonna get us back? And not only were they just like driving away from it, they were cruising like they were on the fucking South Beach, man. They're like bitches. They got the golf clubs out. They're jumping around, falling on the ground.
Are you saying they should have been worried about floating off into space?
If one of those fucking bags broke, supposedly, then that was it. You know, you see it in the movies where it goes, and it goes.
Stops in gravity.
So,
But
you
that's,
know,
that's the only reason we know space too is because.
so
of
we don't
Hollywood,
know. I
which
mean,
is
that's a
interesting.
weird fucking thing to think about.
We all compare it to the things we've seen in movies, and but yeah, no, it's there's a lot of. They say this the suits themselves, how pressurized they'd have to be in the vacuum of space. That you physically couldn't move in it. They're out there just doing all these like tightening shit. They're
Well, I
like,
want to
"Nah,
know more
it was-"
about the Van Allen belts.
Well, we apparently got through that, no problem, in the 60s
Yeah.
and 70s, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden, oh, we can't get through that now because we
Yeah,
found
we
it.
don't have the technology. For that.
Yeah.
I don't get that.
We were so much smarter back then.
It's just
They were
there's
just
too,
tripping on acid.
too
They,
many
they thought they went to space.
there's too many things that if it was a movie where they're lying to us, everything would have to be in place, and it's all there. It's literally all
That's
that
really
video of them leaving is an official thing.
NASA was acid.
Yeah.
And that's some silly
They just spelled it wrong.
Just people in a room. Just like,
You want some NASA? I mean acid? That's too good.
And the bubbles in space where you see them doing the beatbox and shit, and there's bubbles because there's underwater. Like, it's too much lies to go, no, yeah, but everything else is real.
All right, let's try another one. Let's see. I don't want to go there because
Let's talk about something delightful. Have you guys heard the Kelly Clarkson album?
Oh,
No shit, she got a new
fucking
album?
cheap.
Fucking great. Amazing.
Really? You're gonna do pop culture on my ass, dude?
Hey, I
I'm
don't see how that's delightful. Justin Guarini should have won the first season of American
He
Idol.
got
Alright,
robbed.
Yeah, wrong.
Let's check your
Because he has
political.
curly hair. They have forever taken a backseat in the American
Oh,
entertainment
sorry.
industry.
He was gay, and he was black, and he could sing. He'd be present today.
Dude, okay, we should start a part of the podcast for pop culture, and we'll let Jordan and Randall film it.
You realize that was complete like just bullshit, right?
I have no idea what you're saying.
I'm
It
not
sounded
super
like-
into pop culture.
We
It
got
sounded like
5
sitting in for the
minutes
month.
left to go. 5 minutes to go.
I didn't realize it was a timer.
Well, I gotta run Andrew back to the ferry.
Oh, good.
Oh.
But
I'm good.
All right, what part of Seattle do you live in, Randall? Or
like
You
Green
got
Lake.
your black card.
Green Lake.
Green Lake? Oh,
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, my brother used to work at Jock and Jill's. Are they still there on Green Lake?
What is it?
It was an athletic store that they sold bikes and high-end sporting gear and shit like that.
We have to prison live out in Green Lake.
Yeah, it's a nice area for
Sure.
sure.
That later lake is murder.
What is it?
So apparently the lake is murder. Is it fucking algae or whatever? Apparently it was like poisonous or some shit.
oh yeah, the lady that went in there with her dog and the dog died, and then she had to go to the hospital. Shit's crazy.
Yeah, sounds like
I didn't know. I've been in the lake before. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
kind
that makes sense.
yeah,
Makes sense.
some time of year they produce some type of algae that's fucking poisonous.
Okay.
And you swim in it and
Hey.
murk you.
Okay.
Like, we'll fucking murk you. It's like that movie.
Do you have to eat it or it just if
No,
it
you
touches
just-
you?
And
touch
you
you.
just- yeah.
Oh, man.
When you were in the Navy, did they ever just like pump CHT or whatever, like the shit tanks overboard when you were in port?
Just
THC.
say,
CHT. It's
oh.
like chemical. Yeah, like you'll shit on the boat or whatever, and then you walk off the boat, and then they'll pump it overboard, and then you'll be like, "That was mine."
we called it blowing sands.
Blowing
and,
sands.
And the running joke was like, "Who's that sands guy?" You know, and how to get so lucky.
So what do you guys got coming up? You said you told us about your tour to Vegas and
Vegas, Pachanga, yeah, all kinds of stuff. I'm leaving Seattle soon. So.
you're doing your stuff here pretty soon. And how can we find you guys?
DarrenChaseComedy.com, DarrinChase, or just at Darren Chase on Instagram. I update that more than anything. It's easier.
Cool.
Or Facebook.
We'll put a link on it in our thing here for sure.
I'm gonna follow you right now.
You have a Twitter, Andrew?
Kind of. I don't really use it that much. All my dates are on AndrewCrankComedy.com. And then I got some stuff on YouTube if you want to check out videos.
Oh, very good. Is there any particular video that you have on there that you'd point to people,
Yeah,
myself
I have some
included?
recent sets from Laughs, which is right down the street from my house. A couple years ago, I filmed an hour.
Andrew
Frank. A couple years ago, I independently filmed a thing in St. Louis, and I put that on YouTube for free.
For the record,
So that
I
one's
have
alright, yeah.
pro wrestling
This
matches
one?
on
Yeah, that's
YouTube.
me.
It's a good one.
Yeah, I guess so.
So when you go back to Missouri, are you going to have a lot of friends and family come out and support you?
Absolutely. Yeah. That's me. You don't have to watch me.
Well, I'll give you a couple seconds and we'll finish out the show with this because you got to get to your boat and.
It's almost the same thing. We both do this.
all right. These are the. That's
You
great.
want to see some really type in Exile versus Chase. This is a quick little fun.
Is it like a roast battle?
Wrestling battle, even better, man.
I can't fucking deal. Dude.
Versus
Exile versus
VS.
Chase, yeah.
I still haven't recovered from when Paul said that I looked like Mr. Fantastic with the MS.
Yeah, I do have a roast battle online, but no, this is
This one?
yeah. I was told keep it.
You win this one?
Well,
Oh, Jesus.
yeah, and I'm not little, but I am.
That's you?
Yeah, that's my Jason man and everything.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Did it leave a mark?
Oh, my God.
That's great.
Looks like Bump's good.
I was told to make him look big, and I was like, that'll be easy. He lands all of his weight on me. I kicked out at one thing with weight.
Oh, that looked like it hurt.
Oh, my
So I
God.
kicked out. Now skip ahead like just towards the end. You gotta see that.
Did you know who was gonna win?
Well,
Yeah. Pro wrestling.
here's where it gets fun.
Oh! You get your moment.
Yeah,
He's getting his moment. Another one. Nice. Dropkick guy.
he caught you.
Oh, snap. Oh, reversal. Oh, no. Oh!
That looks like I heard.
And I rolled in the ring and dry heaved. That did not feel
Almost
good.
slithered.
Yeah. When people ask if pro wrestling is fake, I like to show them that little clip.
A buddy of mine, he works on tugboats and stuff. And
Oh,
like,
that's
he
crazy.
travels on the West Coast, and he stopped in California, and he went to pro wrestling gym and shit. Like, he sent me a picture, and his chest was like all
Alright.
chopped up.
Good night.
And he was like, "I will never say that's fake ever."
Them
again."
chops, man.
Yeah.
Them chops. Bah! It just. If you get a chop, in that video, actually, there's a middle part where the dude chops me, and the first thing I taught in wrestling camp
Thanks,
was.
Andrew.
Yeah, thank you.
Was that you gotta keep your chest relaxed to get that
Yeah, no problem.
to get that slap. You gotta get it relaxed. If you flex, it sounds like a thud, and it sounds like the other person fucked up. In that video, you can actually hear the first one get a slap, the second one gets a thud. The crowd member goes, "You didn't flatten your palm out enough on that one." Literally accused him of throwing a bad chop because I fucking tensed up, and it was the first day of wrestling camp.